The fact that foreign companies obtain judgments against Nigeria in foreign courts of arbitration, it means one thing, that we cannot be trusted to stick to agreements. Government is built on trust, but when a government fails to uphold the agreements that they sign, it shows that there is serious problem of lack of leadership. It's a worrying situation that Nigerian leaders who are supposed to be marketing Nigeria everywhere they go, they are the ones that always demarket Nigeria in the international community. There's no reason why this should happen. It shouldn't be happening to Nigeria. Nigeria's image is already battered, and the government is supposed to be doing something to make sure we recover our reputation and image. But no, they are always crude in their approach. They never follow due process. And this Chinese company that obtained this judgment in different jurisdictions, in the United States, France, UK, they have confiscated the new jet that Tinubu bought despite all the problems being faced by Nigerians at this time. That's why P2B, one of the main opposition figures in Nigeria, released a statement calling it an international embarrassment. Writing on his verified X handle, he said, quote, "The fact that the federal government went ahead with the jet deal despite the cacophonous cry against the purchase of a presidential jet at this time when the people are going through a horrifying economic hardship shows the insensitivity of this administration. Added to it is the embarrassing aspect of our country's presidential jets being held for contractual breaches arising from yet another dimension of inadequate leadership tidiness. Federal government property which belongs to the people is being managed as a personal family asset. Paying as much as $100 million for the presidential jet for a country that is the poverty capital of the world and has more out-of-school children with over 40% food inflation is the height of concern for the people's feelings. In conclusion, P2B asks two questions. 1. To what extent did the Ogun State government follow its agreement with the Chinese firm? 2. After the UK ruling that prohibited some Nigerian building in Liverpool, what did both Ogun State and federal government do before the French court action? I would like to, therefore, challenge the federal government to come clean and transparent on this matter and tell Nigerians how we got to this latest international mess." Unquote. This latest international embarrassment for Nigeria wasn't actually caused by the federal government, like it happened under Buhari's administration when another company got a court order against Nigeria in London. Of course, that was later resolved. The court set aside the judgment. This time, it was caused by Ogun State. The Chinese company Zhongshan signed an agreement with the Ogun State government to build a free trade zone. Under unclear circumstances, the former governor of Ogun State cancelled the contract with the Chinese company. That was why the Chinese company now started looking for ways to resolve the issue until they ended up in court, first in the UK, in France, in the United States, and the courts have been ordering the seizure of properties belonging to Nigerian government. Ogun State government also recognizes the fact that they are the ones at fault here. They have expressed their regret and apologized to the federal government. In a statement they released, they said, quote, "We have taken all necessary legal steps to ensure that this spurious and baseless order is vacated within the shortest possible time. As a sovereign nation whose assets are protected by laws and sovereign immunity, we vow to resist any attempts at blackmail and theatrics clearly designed to extort and embarrass our dear country. It is important to note that Ogun State never gave up on a reasonable settlement option. With the most recent letter sent to Zhongshan last week, unfortunately Zhongshan only responded after obtaining this latest order. A reasonable and objectively quantifiable settlement figure has already been our preference and continues to be an option in the resolution of this protracted dispute." Unquote. Going by the statement Ogun State government released, it is very obvious that they recognize the fact that they are at fault. If they are talking about a reasonable figure for settlement, that means they know they will pay something. Already the courts have awarded the Chinese company $75 million in damages. So either the Ogun State government appeals these judgments that they've gotten in different countries, or they will seek an out-of-court settlement. Whichever they choose, this is the cost of bad governance and not following due process. In the end, Ogun State citizens will bear the brunt. They will pay the heavy price. Imagine the decision of one man is now costing the entire state millions of dollars in damages. There's no way this settlement will be below $20 million when the Chinese company already gotten judgment in 3 different countries. You see, all these MOUs many governors always sign with foreign companies. Why not make it local? Because all these foreign companies, they only bring capital, and maybe a few companies they will set up to take advantage of the free trade zone. Why don't they ever make it a local thing? After all, Nigerians can take advantage of the free trade zone, manufacture products inside the zone, and take advantage of the zero export tax. And before talking about free trade zone, are we already manufacturing what we need in Nigeria? Have manufacturers satisfied the local demand of products? Because competition needs to be neck and neck so as to reduce the price of many products before we now start talking about exports. When you are talking about manufacturing without having the requisite infrastructure that will support manufacturing, you are just wasting your time. In many Nigerian cities, there is no running water. Before any manufacturer will set up any plant, he must drill a borehole to provide his own water. Are we going to talk about electricity? It is very epileptic. In many cases, it is non-existent, which means that any manufacturer must generate his own power. So if many governors invest in power generation and distribution in their states, also provide water. It is a basic need of man. Provide water to the cities in your state. If they're able to do this, it will reduce the burden on manufacturers, making them more competitive. And if they become more competitive, they wouldn't need to take advantage of any free trade zone to export products. This is why all these free trade zones fail. Most of the Chinese companies coming to sign all these MOUs, they cannot execute the projects because the prospect is just not appealing. These people in government need to understand how manufacturing works. If you want to be competitive in manufacturing and the international market, even in the local market, you must have access to the raw material. Nigeria is hugely endowed with natural resources. It's just that they are not even tapping up to 5% of the natural resources. So they need to start from the beginning, make sure that the required raw materials are available, that miners are mining the raw materials so that manufacturers can buy them locally in Nigeria, all paid for in Naira. When these raw materials are available, it's just a matter of getting the raw materials, get it to your factory, turn it to the products you manufacture, and move it to the port to export, or move it to the Nigerian local market to sell. Even a foreign country you invite to build a free trade zone and set up factories inside the free trade zone, they will still be buying raw materials abroad, shipping them to Nigeria, manufacturing and shipping again outside Nigeria. It becomes cumbersome. In fact, when they look back at their home country, China, they cannot compete with products coming out from China. So it makes no sense setting up a manufacturing plant in Nigeria. So in other words, they know that the free trade zone will fail. They just commit the governor with the MOU. Maybe the governor is doing it for campaign purposes. Maybe he signed the agreement in his first term, hoping to use it to campaign in second term. When it doesn't work out, maybe the Chinese company hasn't even cleared the site, or they are still fencing the entire area. He will quickly cancel the contract and think that that's the end of it. After all, this is Nigeria. Which court are you going to go to? So this is the problem. They need to start from the basics. Provide basic infrastructure that will support manufacturing, and you see Nigeria flourish. Nigerians are hardworking. They are technically endowed. They know how to copy something, emulate something that someone is doing. They can do it. After all, that was the same way Chinese people grew. They kept copying products, emulating how the Westerners did it, and today they are the world's factory. Nigeria can become that too. Nigeria can displace China. Vietnam and many other countries are doing it already. Nigeria can do it, especially because of our geographical location. Look at the map. Nigeria is right there in the center. In terms of proximity, we are very close to the European market, to the American market. So imagine the savings in shipping cost alone compared to South Asia. So these are the advantages. These are the things that leaders are not seeing. When they eventually wake up and see all this country will flourish. It's just that now they are occupied with their personal interests. They are never satisfied despite all the stealing. But Nigerians can make it happen faster by becoming more active in politics. People need to stop saying, this doesn't concern me, I'm not interested. At the end of the day, decisions by political office holders affect everyone. Thanks for watching.